My name's Max Feinstein, and I'm an anesthesiology resident at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. And while I've been a resident for almost 4 years now, I actually know very little about what goes into making a residency program run. In this video, I talk with the senior leadership of Mount Sinai Hospital's Department of Anesthesiology to figure out what exactly goes into running a residency program with about 100 residents at any given time. If you find this video interesting or helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribe to the channel. Let's dive in. We cannot make a video about senior leadership in a residency program without talking with the boss himself, Dr. Adam Levine. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the magic sauce for making a residency program that has more than 100 residents. People walk around friendly enough to call each other on a first name basis, and you have CA2s who feel like they're ready to graduate because their clinical training has gotten them there.
What's the magic sauce in creating a residency where the residents are working very hard, yet are really happy to do so, recognizing that the hard work is amounting to them becoming kick-ass, superb anesthesiologists, feeling satisfied, recognized, and appreciated? I have to say, I was raised in a department, this one, as a medical student and resident, that had that sort of that philosophy. You felt like your work mattered and that you mattered and that your voice mattered.
The first person who allowed me to interview them on my YouTube channel, Dr. Erica Fagelman, who is currently Associate Program Director at the Department of Anesthesiology and also liver transplant anesthesiologist. I thought it would feel right at home being in one of the liver transplant operating rooms. Thanks for being willing to talk again.
Thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be here.
What's amazing is the video that we recorded almost 3 years ago now has been viewed over 100,000 times.
I'm really glad I didn't know that before we filmed it last time.
So we have a massive residency program here. There's a lot of surgery that's performed at Mount Sinai, and so there's a lot of anesthesia that needs to be provided. We have over 100 residents total spread out over 4 years, and I imagine that a large part of your responsibility and leadership is coordinating the day-to-day activity of the residents. Can you tell me a little bit about what that entails?
Absolutely. And I think that's one really unique part of our residency program is that we are such a large program, but I think that it's important to consider that each resident's assignments on any given day are important. It doesn't matter how many total residents that you have. Everyone should be, viewed as an individual. And so fortunately at Sinai, we make the schedule. So we make the assignments for each resident for each daily operating room ourselves. And so when we go to make assignments for the following day, we tend to look at each group of residents on different subspecialty rotations, doing our best to keep each resident, in a room that's related to the subspecialty that they're rotating on. By us doing that by hand every day, we really put thought into the assignments, and it isn't something that sort of just becomes generated by a system or that is prone to having errors that might happen if we weren't doing this sort of person by person ourselves. What is
the most requested type of surgery?
Highly sought after cases sometimes are the liver resections or hepatobiliary cases. I think, they involve a lot of transfusion, hemodynamic management, thoracic epidurals. That's very attractive. Also, a lot of our advanced airway cases are highly requested. So, a case where you might be able to do an awake intubation in the beginning of the case and then sort of manage hemodynamics and blood gas analysis in something like an advanced ENT flap is also a highly desired case. Our advanced open vascular cases are always something pretty sought after, and it's not always easy to find, but something like a carotid endarterectomy or certainly an open AAA repair are highly sought after cases when they come by.
I'm guilty of requesting hepatobiliary cases. I wanted to see how many RICs I could put in by the time I graduated.
I share that passion with you.
The second person that I wanted to interview is Dr. Marc Sherwin, who I had the privilege of spending a lot of time with at the beginning of my CA1 year. We were actually paired up together. You are my preceptor, I was your preceptee, which meant that we spent every day together in the operating room for basically the first couple months of my anesthesia training. And in fact, if you go look at some of my early videos, what I'm showing is basically everything that you taught me, including a video that has been viewed over 1 million times, which is how to do a basic operating room setup for anesthesia. One of the things that struck me immediately when I started doing an away rotation here as a fourth-year medical student is the fact that attendings and residents are on a first-name basis with each other. You insisted that I call you Mark. Our program director, Adam Levine, is not Dr. Levine does. He's Adam. From a leadership standpoint, what's the philosophy that goes into having residents and attendings on a first-name basis?
Yeah, I think it is very unique that from the attendings to residents and even medical students, from the top down, we expect you to call us by our first name. I think breaking those hierarchies and making you feel like you're on the same level playing field, both in the operating room, in the classroom, whether it's for your education or for patient safety, to be able to feel like you can approach your attending and there is no barrier. It's good for you to be able to ask any question you have for your own learning. Or it's good to even just bring up something you're concerned about in the operating room to know that, I can ask this without judgment. And it's not just really within our department. I think what's great about Mount Sinai is that all of the departments here, from nursing to surgery, we all work really well together. And again, there is none of that hierarchy, so that you feel comfortable being able to communicate with your surgeon, your nurse, any of your concerns, and feel like you're kind of working as a team and not like there is a hierarchy.
To round out this video, I wanted to talk with Dr. Kevin Chung, Associate Program Director, and only Associate Program Director who I've not made a video with yet, so this is it.
Thank you for having me. It is a great honor to be finally featured on Dr. Max Feinstein's video.
Thanks for being here. Can you tell me a little bit about what goes into vacation scheduling, conference scheduling, interview scheduling?
I think one of the more interesting and unique features of our program has been that we've been able to distribute vacation days to residents one day at a time or piecemeal, as opposed to taken necessarily in weeks at a time.
Along those lines, you guys have always been very flexible in terms of getting me out of the OR to be able to go to conferences, which have all been funded. So the department has paid my way to go to a number of different places. Most recently, I flew to Belgium to present at a conference. And you guys basically make that happen because you're able to facilitate the scheduling to get me out of the ORs.
Any conference in which a resident is presenting any material, they're granted what we call just meeting days, extra days on top of their normal allocation of vacation days. Our residents, whether they're interviewing for fellowships or for jobs as faculty members, will inevitably have to have some time out of the OR to go to these interviews. And so another unique feature of our program is that we don't make our residents interview either pre or post call or on a vacation day.
Every year you receive a very large number of applications for the residency program. What do you look for that really helps someone stand out and makes you think that they are going to really excel in residency here?
What I specifically look for are people with interesting background stories. I think we always will see students who are extraordinary. And I never now need to worry who's going to care for me when I need surgery and need a superb anesthesiologist. I'm pretty confident that the caliber and the quality of the medical student choosing anesthesiology as a specialty is, I'm going to be set. And so is the entire country, which is really a source of pride. I do look for people who've lived through challenges and who have really overcome obstacles. I find people who are passionate about education and mentorship really appealing. And we have all of these tracks, so I do deliberately look for people with dual degrees. I look for people that have interest in leadership and maybe have done an MBA. When we evaluate a student to join our program, we don't evaluate them like they're replaceable cogs that are going to change every 4 years, because that's not the case. The likelihood is they will stick around. But even if they don't, they become amazing advocates and resources when they move on and advocate for students to want to interview with us, because A, they're superb clinicians, because at the heart and the soul of this place, everyone, whether it's the president of the hospital, whether it's the chairman of the department, whether it's the program director, assistant program directors, all the vice chairs, all the directors. I think what is inspiring to residents is that all of those people who are superb at either research, education, administration, advocacy, are at their heart and soul superb clinicians.
Thank you very much for A, having me in your residency program, and B, being willing to sit in front of a camera, and also letting me just have a YouTube channel to begin with. it's been an incredible opportunity.
Dare I say, and shall I sort of venture forth, I think we both struck gold.